Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links it in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Declan McKenna, and that's Humongous. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. Now going into this track, I must admit I'm pretty darn excited since I've adored what Declan has released in the past. Even though his catalogue is a little bit thin due to him being, 16, 17 years old and brand spanking new onto the scene right now, every track I've heard thus far from the lad has been great really, and he has really hit a note with me personally, especially when we're talking in terms of relatable lyrics. So shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, I thought it was pretty good, and it definitely had some decent moments chucked into its runtime. I didn't think it was one of his best though, and I did also think that there was a lot of needless filler throughout the runtime of this track, but the core fundamentals are fantastic, and it's yet another stylistic outing for the young artist, which I think is important at his stage in his career. He puts in a cracking vocal performance here. He's unafraid to chuck in all sorts of crazy instruments and sounds in order to break things up a little, to vary things a little, and he's quite progressive and experimental when it comes to his sort of song form and how he thinks about song form. This track still didn't really resonate with me quite as much as I really wanted it to, and I tried hard for it to be that way, but it's still just a good fun listen as a fan, and I think as a casual listener there's still enough here to really pull you in. When it comes to the production of this track, I thought it was mixed exactly the way I'd really want to hear it mixed. It's both very organic in parts as well as having this flickery, programmed electronic edge to it, which allowed for this track to really feel as if it's developing and evolving, and the important word being feel here, but we'll talk about the negative side of this sort of stuff later in this review. The guitar sounds great though, keeping its natural twang in that mid-ground. The percussion isn't bold or brash, but rather complements the stereo field with glistening hi-hats and a kick that is wholesome and pulsating. The electronic elements, though very much psychedelic and experimental, all have great timbres, and even though the pads were a little bit understated for me, they help flesh out this ever-expanding scope. The texture was nice overall. I enjoyed the texture. All in all, it's a very strong production cycle. Musicality-wise, I'm just going to cut the crap and be honest with you. I thought the first half of the track was much better than the second half, and that's purely down to the second half of the song not really capturing me after that big midway transition from organic instrumentals into this psychedelic electronic stuff as I was talking about. The first half is very reminiscent of bands like Hippocampus, in which it's very easy to listen to, endearing, catchy, and has a strong vocal performance really leading the way. The second half, however, did get a little bit repetitive for me, as I felt that we were just taking the same progression and repeating it over and over with different instruments, and you could have cut a good minute out of this song, maybe even a minute and a half out of this song, and I think it would have genuinely sounded a little more cohesive. So I think he needed to try something different with the bridge rather than doing that, because I'm usually not against, changing up the instrumentals and keeping the progressions the same, but this time around it just didn't really work for me. I'm not saying that it's all bad either, rather just too centrally based around a sequence that did get a little bit dull by that time. The hook, however, is great. The progressions, when they kick in, are fabulous, and Declan himself yet again proves why he's such an exciting prospect full of so much potential. Lyrically, again, this track didn't quite connect with me as much as I really wanted it to, or like his previous endeavors, but having said that, he still sings about very unique themes and ones that are clearly very, very personal to him. And even if you can't relate to what he's saying, like I didn't this time around, you can at least smile at the experiences you are being told about because they sound real, they sound realistic. So all in all, it's a solid track with a few minor blips that vary in severity depending on the listener. So I gave it a G rating of 7 out of 10, which is well above average still. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, comment what you think in the comment section down below, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.